Welcome to another pet pairing palettes video, you guys. Today we're pairing two palettes that I don't think it would ever occur to you to pair together, but listen to my whole thought process. So today we're pairing the Sublime palette, so Mothership 2, together with the Little Levian Rose, the Mothership Mini Subversive palette, 6-pan, and you probably think that's a very odd combination. Let me try to show you how these two palettes look like. So these are the two palettes that we are talking about. And my whole thought process with this pairing today was, what is an eyeshadow that I really love from Pat, around which I want to center my look, but I haven't really used in a really long time? And lo and behold, I thought of this beautiful shade here. It is a gorgeous, like, very deep honey gold. And I thought, I haven't used that shade in such a long time. I would really like to pair it somehow. And then I came to the idea that I would like to pair it with my Sublime palette, and what I would like to do is layer both of these topper shades from the Sublime palette over top of that gold to give it more dimension. I don't know whether it's going to work out, but we're going to give it a try. You need to consider this series as a little bit of an experiment, and let me tell you, in science 95% of your experiments are doomed to fail. Hopefully in makeup science that's not the case. I am going to start off my look with this shade over here. It's one of Pat's more like satin type of shades. It's not a very metallic punchy shade, but at the same time it's not a matte either, and because it has this very like mid-tone shade to it, I really like to use it through my crease. Now it is a little bit of a shiny shade, so it's a bit of a personal preference whether you like to put shades like this through your crease, but I personally don't seem to mind this shade so much. So I'm going to start my look off with it and just start working it here through my crease and blending it upwards. This eyeshadow would make for a fantastic like one eyeshadow type of look, because it does have a little bit of that dimension if you wet it, but at the same time you can very easily blend it out and it works so beautifully as a one eyeshadow type of look. I just think this Sublime palette is so versatile and like so underrated by people. I almost never see the Sublime palette as one of people's most favorite palettes, like not even in the top 3, and I just think it's such an underrated little thing. I don't know if we're really going to like be chatting a lot today, because I think I would like to do this video on time because I have to take the bus. I'm still waiting for my new bike to arrive. Like I said, I sold my old bike and I bought a new bike. I mentioned that a few videos ago, and I'm super excited to get my new bike. But unfortunately my new bike is going to only arrive next Wednesday, so that's a week from now. And in the meantime I have to be taking the bus, which is not my most favorite way of going to work, because the buses here are, especially lately, even less regular than they used to be, and I'm so dependent on a bus that comes only every half an hour or something. So I want to deepen my crease a little bit, but I don't want it to be like overly dramatic, so I'm going to take the brown and not the black for that, and just try to concentrate that dark brown here onto the very outer part of the eye, just to give a bit more depth to the outer corner without really making it too dark. Maybe we can talk like just the tiniest bit about my newest Netflix escapades. I mentioned last time that I was like binging a bunch of shows on Netflix because I'm bored, and I wanted to mention that I watched a show and I was very curious whether you guys watched it and what you thought of it. So did you guys see Behind Her Eyes? It's like a limited mini-series. It's based on a book, and I don't know what to say, you guys. I actually liked it. I don't know whether I want to give you spoilers or not. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I don't think I can talk about the show without giving away too many spoilers, so spoilers alert. If you don't want me to ruin the show for you and you still want to go and watch it, go and watch it. In a nutshell, it's a psychological thriller about a woman. I'm going to take, by the way, my glitter glue now. About a woman, a single mom, who gets entangled in the complicated, psychologically loaded relationship of a psychiatrist and his wife, this gorgeous creature who seems to have some sort of issues. Like she has been in an institution as a young woman, and it seems like their marriage isn't really going particularly well, but for whatever reason they're tied to each other. And anyway, the weird part of the, the story is that she sort of starts an affair with the husband, but she also befriends the wife without the husband knowing. I'm taking the gold shade, by the way, from the La Vie en Rose palette, and I'm just going to use my fingers for that. And she gets entangled into this whole like web of, I don't want to say lies, but like psychological games between the husband and the wife. And like the show leads you to believe in the beginning that it's all like psychological. However, somewhere like past the midpoint of the show, like more towards the end actually, you get a whiff that they're going in like a very like esoteric direction, like a little bit into the supernatural. And that's where the show becomes like either something that you're going to love or something that you're going to hate. Personally, I was a little bit more... I didn't really mind one way or the other. For me, psychological would have been fine, but the fact that they took it to a different level with the esoteric shit, I didn't really mind that. But as I was watching the show, once they hit the note with the esoteric shit, I was like, oh no, I know where this story is going. This story is going towards the ending of Skeleton Key with Kate Hudson. If you've seen this show and you have seen Behind Her Eyes, then you immediately know what I'm going to be talking about. I am going to now layer these two shades over top of this gold just to see what happens, I don't know whether much is going to happen, but I want to try it. I'm starting off with the bronzy gold and I'm not going to apply glitter glue or anything. I'm going to apply it more so as a topper than as an opaque shade, because I'm just curious whether it's going to add a little bit more sparkle and dimension, which it is because this shade is very sparkly. Just the tiniest bit. And I am also going to wipe my finger off and go into the most gorgeous, one of the most gorgeous makeup creations ever, which is this shade, the shade VR Nectar. And I'm going to take a little bit of VR Nectar. Oh god, look at that. A tiny bit, because we need to be frugal with that shade. And I'm going to do the same thing where I kind of like stamp it on gently over top of the other two shades. Because like I said, I don't want the shade to overtake, I just want it to add dimension. Ooh. Okay, I don't know whether this is coming across on camera, but I feel like that gold became even more beautiful, sparkly and dimensional once I added those two toppers. So pretty. Now I'm going to dip back into the Sublime palette and I'm going to take the shade VR Nectar and I'm going to start fluffing that into my inner corners, because I think it's going to be a nice little like green touch to really tie the look together, because it has a little bit of this lime green tone to it and that's going to fit really nicely with my dress. But back to the show. I was talking to one of my colleagues who had just finished watching the show and I was like one episode away from finishing the series, and I told her, I think that here we are entering like major spoilers. I think that the wife is not the wife. I think it's her friend. The drug addict Rob somehow has entered her body. Like once they went into the esoteric part of the story, I was like, I feel like she's not herself anymore, because there were like a few clues here and there which I thought were like really strange, because she had the diary of that dude and she said she had suffered from night terrors, whereas in earlier conversations when they were in the rehab or mental health institute, whatever, it was made clear that he was the one who suffered from night terrors and she seemed to be there for a different reason. They never specified the reason, but it didn't seem like she was the one suffering from the night terrors. And also the main character, the single mom, when she started sleeping with the husband, and at one point they had a conversation which was clearly about his wife, but she was not supposed to know that it was about his wife, but she knew it was about his wife. And then she asked something about how do you still keep in touch with this person, and he was like, no, I don't know her anymore, or something that implied as if she's not the same person and I have no idea who she is anymore. So all of these like little clues were like really strange for me, and then once they added the supernatural element, I was like, oh yeah, I think the wife and the friend somehow switched places and the body actually doesn't house the wife anymore. Let me quickly tell you how I'm going to finish off this look. I'm going to basically do a combo of these two shades again on my lower lash line. I'm going to keep it simple. It's, like I said, a very neutral look, but I wanted to experiment a little bit with like making that gold shade more dimensional. Anywho, and then I told my colleague I think that's what happened, and it seems like the wife set up becoming a friend with the single mom, so it was made to seem as if them meeting was a total coincidence, but by the last episode it was becoming clear that it's not the case, and it seems like the wife staged somehow the two of them becoming friends. And I told my colleague, but the only thing I don't understand is what is his/her endgame, like what does he want from the single mom? And then as the episode was progressing, in my mind, I was like, oh no, 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 no. I think I know where they're going. I think they're going in a direction where Rob, the drug addict who is currently in the mentally disturbed wife's body, is somehow planning on taking over the body of the single mom. And lo and behold, that's how the show ended. One thing that bothered me about that ending is that the woman, the single mom, it was like made to her clear on several occasions that she probably needs to stay away from these two lunatics because, you know, it's dangerous to be around them. Like, she spoke to other people who had been involved with them, and it seemed like it's a very dangerous thing to be around them. And she has a fucking kid, you know? Like, why would you... I'm, by the way, taking this little Sonia G brush, and I want to just try to apply the tiniest bit of the dark brown shade from the Sublime palette here into my lashes, just to imitate a little bit of a liner. So it was made clear to her that being involved with the two of them is rather dangerous, and she might be, you know, risking everyone around her, everyone she loves, being involved with these two lunatics and something like happening to them. And like, she became so involved with them and she wanted to help both of them. And it was not clear to me, like, why? You have a kid, and it seems like that kid's pretty important to you, so why the fuck do you care so much about these two? Like, being around these two isn't healthy, so, like, pack your fucking bags and, like, don't ever speak to them again. So that's the only thing, like, her motivation for being so involved with them was not completely clear to me. When I was reading later through, like, Reddit, I found out that apparently in the book it's made clear that she becomes obsessed kind of with that couple. And that's the reason that she goes through these lengths to be involved with the two of them and try to help them out. And that puts a bit more into perspective, like, why was she so involved with the two of them? Because through the show, I'm afraid that did not become clear. So guys, this is the final look. Quite simple, one could argue boring, but these are the types of looks that I've been enjoying lately, and I have made that no secret to you. So I hope you enjoyed this look. I really feel like adding all of these topper shades over top of the gold gave that gold so much dimension, and I'm sure that if I stand under artificial light, I'm going to be mesmerized by all the different, you know, dimensions and complexity and sparkle that's going on my eyes right now. I'm not sure you can really appreciate it now in daylight. I paired the look with this lipstick. This is the shade Cinnamon Toast from H&M. I've really been into my H&M cream lipsticks this last week. I've really scoured them, and I've been wearing them all the time. So I hope that you enjoyed our second episode pairing the Sublime palette with the mini subversive La Vie en Rose. Let me know your thoughts on Behind Her Eyes if you have seen the show. Did you like the direction they took? Were you a little bit disappointed that they took it into the supernatural? Because I've spoken to friends who have been disappointed that they kind of took it into the esoteric direction instead of just leaving it in the realm of the psychological thriller, because I feel like they were really looking forward to a plot twist with the psychological thriller part, and they were disappointed that the show kind of like takes that more supernatural direction. I personally, like I said, didn't mind it one way or the other. I enjoyed it. It was interesting to watch. I was invested in it, and I was really excited for the last episode because, like I said, I had all of these predictions and a lot of them did actually come true, and especially that last part when, you know, the single mom went to the house of the crazy lady and she basically allowed her to take her body in a very stupid way. I was literally screaming no at the TV, and my husband was like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, let's wrap up the ramblings. Hope you enjoyed this second episode of my Pairing Pat McGrath Palettes series. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!